Welcome back to Watching the Throne on the Late Night Chat Network, episode 55. All right, welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
Jay is once again together with me here at my place. We're trying to bank some episodes of Watching the Throne here. Also, he's still dealing with his own audio issues over at his end.
Well, by the time you see this, hopefully it'll be fixed. But honestly,
yeah.
this if you've seen any of the recent shows lately, I am kind of touring. I'm on the road. I am doing podcasts from other people's locations.
Yeah. Hey, listen, whatever we need to do to get it done. Yeah.
Exactly. The show must go on, man. It's fucking costing me a fortune now in gas these days, but you know what? It's all good. I'm just happy I have my car back and
yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah.
Cheers
to that. Yeah. Cheers.
Well, that switched. That was from a fucking
coffee to whiskey.
Coffee to whiskey.
As the night goes on, that's what happens.
Bang,
yeah. But yeah, welcome back, everybody. This, as I mentioned, this is episode 55. This is our Game of Thrones kind of overview show where we go episode by episode and we talk about them in depth and go through the whole episode, give you our thoughts on these episodes. And this is my first time ever revisiting the show since the first time I've watched the show. I've never gone back and rewatched it before. And this is JT's first time ever watching the show, which I know is rare these days, being a Game of Thrones fan, or a new Game of Thrones fan, I should say, actually.
And a fan, yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's tons of Game of Thrones fans, but like the fact that you got put onto the show as a result of watching House of the Dragon, which I'm sure you're not alone, but I don't know anybody personally that actually has bothered watching that show prior to Game of Thrones. Like that's what kind of got them interested in the first place. But hey, here we are, right? And we're already in the 6th season. We're just, we're getting these episodes put out there for you guys. And thank you to everybody who's been checking them out. Really, we really appreciate the numbers and the comments and the feedback and all the people that have joined us as guests on these shows. And it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, thank you to everybody who's checked them out and has kept us going.
It's fun to watch, man. I'll tell you. I almost start talking about it on the other shows that I do. And I'm like, fuck, I can't. I gotta
save it. You gotta save it for this. Yeah. So
no, like it's totally different times you're gonna hear.
Right.
It just really gets me sometimes because I just finished watching it or something
the
day before and it gets me a little excited. And I know the other people on the show at least one of them has watched it. So I almost try to get stuff and coerce stuff out of them.
Yeah, actually, you know what? To be fair now, we are divided down the middle in terms of our main hosts of the show. No, Lewis has seen it too, actually. And of course.
Divided.
Yeah, but we got 4-2 right now that have watched the show as a result.
Well, I'm still watching it, but I mean,
still.
We have 2 of them I know for sure.
Julie has never watched it, and Rob has never watched it. Yeah. So yeah, you got on board, guys. Come on now.
Get on, it's on. It's actually good.
But this has been a lot of fun, and make sure you like and subscribe, guys. It's your first time checking it out. We do put these out weekly. They usually drop on Thursdays at 8 p.m. And by the time this airs, it should be the new year. Honestly, the new year of 2024.
That's
and
so
we're closing in on the last couple of seasons of Game of Thrones now. So the way it should get timed out by the time we are done with this, we probably will be doing House of the Dragon almost directly after that, season 1. And then hopefully that should lead us right into the summer for season 2 of House of the Dragon, which we've been teasing because they've just confirmed that they have finished filming the show. And even though the strikes didn't affect them because they were in Europe, I think, filming that show anyways. But apparently, they're going to be looking for content to put out now as a result of this long strike that the actors just had. So I have no doubt in my mind that it will be airing this summer, hopefully, as they had previously mentioned that it should be coming out 2024, the summer of. So, so hopefully that gets out there, and that will be fun. We'll be talking about that week to week as they come out. We'll all be new to those episodes as a result, right? That'll be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that, guys. But Jay, this episode here, as we're talking about here today, this is season 6, episode 5, The Door.
Came out.
The Door, Jay. Yeah.
Came out.
When did it come out?
See, May 22nd. So on a long weekend.
What year?
Of 2016.
There you go.
So what? 9 years ago?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
So Jay, what are your thoughts on this episode? Because I got to tell you,
there's a lot of shit going on.
There is, but I got to tell you, the whole reason this episode is called The Door, when this was when this was revealed to a lot of us viewers the first time, and I think people had read the book already knew about this. this wasn't a lot of people's favorite episode because of how stupid it kind of seemed. And honestly, no, hold your thoughts, because I maybe you don't feel this way, but I'll tell you how I felt, how I know some other people felt when we did watch this. Was like, one, that's kind of stupid, and that and two, just like there was a lot of making fun of it, because obviously this character, that Hodor, who was doing that, Hodor meant hold the door, right? He's kind of like, a big idiot, let's say. Feeble-minded, let's say.
Very much so. Very much so.
And I'm sure at the years that we were saying this, we weren't using the word feeble-minded. We were being less PC with it. I'm sure we were calling the guy retarded.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I went to 2016. You're lucky,
right?
You're just getting away with it,
right? So listen, at the time we kind of thought this was kind of stupid and funny at the same time. I'm not gonna lie, because we're like, really, that was this big fucking reveal of why this guy is called that and everything else. We're really like, come on, like it just felt like we were building up to something much more interesting in this story, and then you got this fucking guy. His name's Hodor, and his whole fate was based on the fact that he literally had to keep a door shut. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's predestined. He had one job, right? He's holding that fucking door. Poor guy, I don't know. Go ahead. What do you think of this, though?
Yeah.
What did you think?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we were thinking in the beginning, yeah, maybe he got hit in the head with it. Like I kept thinking that you were going to see some donkey kick him in the head or something, right? Or it was going to be something spectacular like that.
Right.
But really, then his head would be all warped and stuff like that. And think about it, but when it's got to do with something that like this
that they put in his head and made him that way as a result, like it drove him crazy. Weird, yeah,
but it's kind of weird, and if he does know it or doesn't know it, and is that why maybe Brad could kind of understand him when they're talking, or when they can kind of understand him when they're talking, because they just know what he means.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's kind of weird how it played out, right? Because it kind of tripped me out when all of a sudden his eyes started going.
Like, did you feel this was like some huge, crazy reveal, Well, I
kind of figured it wasn't it must not have been nothing crazy. I was like, okay, so that's why the episode's called The Door, and why his name is Hodor. That's the
hold the door. Hold the door.
Yeah.
Hold the door. Hodor.
Yeah, he's going off like crazy. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And it kind of left me a little bit kind of wanting more. But at the same time, okay, now we got the answer. That was kind of quick. It was like, it leaves you wanting to go like a whole, I wanted more of a story behind it. There wasn't much of a story behind it.
No.
Right, so it's like they were just rushing it at one point. I don't know if it was different in the book.
I just think it's funny the way that we're seeing things being played out on in Bran's storyline, in the sense that like there's all this like predestined type shit going on, and they're really building up the fact that he's supposed to be someone important to everything occurring. Not only that, I mean, we're gonna get to it, but the White Walker stuff that happened in this episode, and the connection to the White Walkers and how they make White Walkers and how he's involved with the White Walkers, that's all pretty fucking huge shit. Like, at least they're trying to make it seem like it's very important and very kind of like, but then you got this other thing, which the Hodor stuff with, like, again, like it's like everyone's got, basically everyone's playing their part in terms of his journey in order to help him survive. And to the point where, like, in that flashback, even though it's a flashback of something that happened in his past, it happened in present day, and obviously affected him in present day as a result of that moment where the guy yelled out, "Hold the door." And then they put that thought in his head, and that's the reason why. You know what I mean? Even though
like a butterfly effect,
kind of, it's something like that. But even
isn't he supposed to only go there to watch and not really say anything? Like, isn't that what the old man's trying to teach him?
Well, and also the fact that like his visions are getting so strong that, like, there's the moment where like the White Walker, the king, grabs his arm and brings, like, he's able to locate him as a result. Like, there's some crazy shit going on now with, like,
he's sticking around too long, like the old man
yes,
trying to teach him.
yes,
he's gonna become
yes, and because of what had occurred there, he doesn't even get to finish his training. He just scrapped the whole fucking thing. He's like, you're not ready, but like, what the fuck are we gonna do now? Like, right? He's like, you're gonna become me now. You have to become. You're predestined to become me. You got to be me. Like, there's a lot of like this whole storyline has not been my favorite up to this point, but I will say in this episode there is a lot of interesting things going on with that aspect of the story, and obviously
they could take it somewhere.
And I think at the end of the day, the White Walker stuff is building up to be probably the most important part of this show that all of this is leading towards. Like, we're seeing people now band together because of the reality that they're going to have to face these things at some point in the future, right?
Trying to band together.
Right.
To people that band
right.
Together,
right.
So.
But not everyone's believing it, and not anybody's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like the whole thing with the dragons. We were like, dragons are gone. What are you talking about? Yeah. But at least that they acknowledge existed. They don't, a lot of people don't believe that White Walkers exist, right? Yeah. So it's very, so that's what I mean. There's some interesting stuff going on there, but the whole Hodor thing is kind of stupid. Like, I still think it's kind of dumb. I'm glad you didn't seem to hate on it. Like, I remember we were all making fun of it at the time.
Don't get me
right. We were all kind of making fun of it at the time, not because of the state of like the mental state of this guy, but just like,
yeah, it was all because you guys were making fun of the mental state of this guy back in the day. Okay. So
I'm sure there was a bit of that too, but it was one of those things where it's just like, really, like, this is what this whole reveal was, that this guy literally, like, you know what I mean? Like, come on.
Well, that's the writer's fault. If that's the way it was, like, if that's the way the book was, then it is kind of his fault, unless he led you to believe something bigger.
Right.
And made it sound
I just thought it was a weird origin. Oh, that's why they call him Hodor, because they fucking told this guy to hold the goddamn door, and then he held the door, and that's like his one job that he had. Like, this guy literally had to join this group just to pull off that moment. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it was a big moment, because if not, the White Walkers would have killed them. And this guy's supposed to be some fucking big deal because he's now that guy in the tree or whatever, right? So that's what I mean. This is all some weird shit that's going on right now with his whole storyline, right? But like,
and it's almost like, I mean, if you can go back like that, if you can't stop something before it happens, it's kind of weird. Why do you get that power for? What are you doing in the tree? I'm trying to figure it out. Like, I understand you're seeing things, but who cares about what you see that already happens? Like, I guess Bran's got to, or they got to figure it out so that people don't, make the mistake that's going to lead them to that way. Because now, obviously, Bran now has just fucked everything up for everybody. I think he's made it even. He's just sped everything up.
Yeah,
from what I'm thinking,
right?
But we'll have to see, right? Because I don't know what's going on after this, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of funny. I mean, how it switched over. I kind of felt bad for him too, in a way, but I don't know. Maybe it was just my way of thinking. But I didn't have anybody to joke with about it the next day, so I guess that was the big thing.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe if I was part of that, in crowd that used to talk about Game of Thrones and used to make fun of Hodor because the poor guy, I told you, I would have rather him get kicked in the head, man. Straight up. It would have been more interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's like, it seems like a big deal for something that seems like it's not a big deal in the sense that, like, but again, he saved him, right? Like, in that moment, he saved him. So, like, I guess we'll see where that plays out. And it just, again, I just remember it being a big deal at the time, in the sense that, like, everyone was kind of like, really, like, that's what the point of this whole thing was. Like, this guy named Hodor was just supposed to hold a fucking door. I'm telling you, ask any other fan. I think at that time, this was a show. This was a story plot that kind of people made fun of at the time a little bit about
how there was gifts for it back then.
Oh, I'm
sure they'd be out there everywhere.
Anyways, but we'll get into it now. We'll get into it with the scenes here. I'll set up the scenes. So first off, Sansa Stark receives a message bearing the sigil of House Baelish, asking her to a meeting in Molestown. Accompanied by Brienne, Sansa furiously confronts Peter Baelish, asking if he was aware of what Ramsay Bolton was capable of when he left her with them.
She looked tough in this scene, bro.
Yeah,
I think Baelish.
Everything she's been through, it's understandable.
Face,
right. I even liked how Brienne was kind of like, you heard her. She's like, answer her question. Like, was she rolled up and she's just like, she had her sword. She's like, fucking answer her question already. Like, she's like, she asked you something, right? Because he's just sitting there like, Sansa. He's like, Sansa, I didn't know. Fucking Baelish.
I love that fucking little hair thing he's got going for him, man.
It's gross.
It looks kind of fucking creepy.
Baelish deflects, saying he has the Knights of the Vale waiting at Moat Cailin to aid Sansa. She is mistrustful of him when he claims he had no idea of Ramsay's abusive treatment of her. Sansa describes her wedding night and what Ramsay did. Littlefinger looks on in silent horror and apologizes to her, offering to protect her now. She doubts Baelish's ability to protect her or even himself, threatening to have Brienne kill him. He says he'll do whatever she asks, and Sansa tells him to leave and never come back for her. He obeys, but not before informing her that her great-uncle Brynden Tully has recaptured Riverrun and recommends she seek him out and the remaining loyal Tully forces. Sansa says she already has an army, her brother Jon Snow's army of wildlings. Half-brother, Baelish clarifies as he walks away.
He's a mindfucker, right? He's still trying to mindfuck her, right? Because, you know, she made him fucking, you know, she listened to that because she told him straight, I know your whorehouses, they probably know what he did to me. She fucking told, he's acting all stupid, right?
I know,
you know?
plain dumb.
I don't know what happens.
But, like, let's be honest, like, I still think he has eyes for her, like, you know what I mean? Like, so, like, I think if he had it his way, like, there'd be something else going on there between the two, right?
Yeah.
But I also think he's trying to align himself with as many allies as he can right now, with given his new stature. Ship. Yeah, exactly. So, like, you know what I mean?
He wants to know where to jump ship if he has to.
Right.
And that's another thing too. He's always there for himself. He's protected himself.
Yeah, of course, he's always there for himself. That's what it's always all about. That's why I don't believe this guy. Sansa, I didn't know. I swear, Sansa.
Fucking bullshit, man. You fucking know. Fucking Ramsay probably used to pay visits to your fucking whorehouse. You know what I mean?
I don't know about all that. I don't think I will say this. I don't think he knew the extent of maybe how fucked up he was.
They've probably told him. Somebody's probably told him.
But I think like he didn't care in that moment. I'll say that. Like, I don't think he gave any thought to what would happen to her because
he thought about himself.
Right. I think that's what it is. Like, I don't think it's like, I don't think he didn't. I won't say he completely didn't know, but I also don't think maybe he didn't know that the extent of what he would do to her, maybe, but he didn't care. He probably just never gave it a second thought, right? Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, I wouldn't say I believe him, but I think, like, I do believe, like, he didn't want any harm done to her. You know what I mean? Like, I honestly don't think he was hoping for something bad to happen to her. I just don't think he cared. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he gave it a second thought in any sense, right? Yeah, so,
like you said, I still think. I mean, it was still. I think it's for him.
Yeah,
it really does.
But then we go over to Braavos here in this next scene. The waif continues to drill Arya, mocking her highborn origins. Jaqen H'ghar explains that the faceless men were slaves in Valyria before establishing the free city of Braavos and the House of Black and White. Handing Arya a vial, Jaqen tells her an actress, Lady Crane, will be the next to receive the many-faced god's gift. You liking this storyline or what?
This one is a little fucking... I tripped out. I was high when I was watching this part, bro, and I was wondering, wait, what story are they telling? This is... Oh, my God. I was fucking having a ball. They had a second midget in this one. Sorry, second little person. Sorry, I did sometimes. That's why I try to look at the screen so I remember I'm on computer.
Yes, second little person. Yeah.
Second little person.
Yeah, that's in the play. Yeah. Actually, which I've seen in other things. I don't know the actor's name, but I've seen him in other shows. I feel like he looks very familiar. This guy that plays the
I don't know
Tyrion.
The whole fucking I don't.
No. I mean, he's got some stuff on him, like makeup and like prosthetics, but like I think I've seen him in something else for sure.
I was dying. That's all I gotta tell you.
Arya enjoys the spectacle of the actors reenacting the War of the Five Kings, playing Baratheons and Lannisters, but her pleasure ceases when her father and his execution are inaccurately caricatured. Eddard is portrayed as a buffoon, and the actress who plays Sansa has her breasts bared to the audience. Arya sneaks into the dressing room after the play to observe her target, the actress playing Cersei, who appears to be a clever, decent woman. I've seen this actress in other things too. I really should have looked up the cast on this one because I don't know what I've seen her in, but she is in some other things I've seen on TV. Like, she's not like I noticed this in this episode and next episode, what we'll be talking about. We're finally seeing some familiar faces of people, I think, from like other television shows up to this point. Like there was a lot of people I think that were unknowns, at least at this point in time on this show. Yeah. But as the season goes on, I think you're going to start to see some more familiar faces of some actors you might recognize for other things. At least I have been, because especially in the next episode, which we're going to talk about, you know, there's a big actress in that obviously isn't something that has been very popular this past year. But now again, back then you didn't really know who she was. She was new to a lot of us, right? So now it's interesting to go back and watch sometimes and be like, oh yeah, it's that guy from that thing, or it's you know, that woman from that thing I watched, right? So
too many new people introduced.
Yeah,
since the beginning of the series, right?
Yeah. Who appears to be a clever, decent woman. Arya later shares with Jaqen her plan to poison Lady Crane's rum, which no one else in the troop drinks. Arya suspects that a jealous younger actress, Bianca, has commissioned the kill. Jaqen cuts her off, reminding her a servant does not question. I don't know. To be honest with you, this is not my favorite storyline either.
I think it was fucking goofy. Like that part there, I thought was fucking hilarious. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, I'm mostly speaking to where I know this storyline to go from here, because I have already gone ahead and watched a few episodes of this season, because I know we were going to be preparing to record those. Yeah. So I'm, you know, this one is probably even more of a disappointing storyline to me right now than the Bronn one this season, honestly, because at least the Bronn one, there's a lot of interesting things going on with the White Walker stuff that we saw in this episode. But like, this is like, I just don't know. You know, I feel like some of this stuff is, while weird and kind of interesting at times, the Arya storyline seems ultimately pointless to me. But we'll see. We're not there yet, so we'll see where this goes. But I don't know. Not my favorite.
Okay.
Then we're going beyond the wall here. The three-eyed raven shows Bran, a version of a heart tree amid spirals of standing stones in a lush green valley. His vision shows Leaf and other children of the forest talking amongst themselves, then looking eagerly at a captive bound to the tree. Leaf approaches and forces a dragon glass dagger into the captive's chest. The captive screams but does not die, instead becoming the first White Walker.
That was crazy, man.
So this is basically, they're saying this is how a White Walker is created, is that they drive this dragon glass into them, and that could create a White Walker. I believe that's what they're trying to illustrate by showing this scene, right?
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of.
Right?
I mean, like, you know, but then Thing killed one with one.
Or at least this is how they created the first White Walker. Of course, now the White Walkers have their own way of making people White Walkers, which we've seen already on the show. But yeah, this is, I guess, how they created the first White Walker. I guess this guy used to be part of the, you know, these children of he was with these children of the forest, right? I guess, and this happened.
Yeah, but we've seen Thing kill one with the dragon glass.
That's right. Right. That is also how they get killed, which is weird, and I guess that's because this first one created it as a result. That's her weakness.
Like also with the
kind of like kryptonite or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's also like Jon's sword, right? With his sword, he's already been able to kill it,
right?
Which was weird.
With Valyrian steel is another thing that kills them that we know of. Yeah,
so it has to do with the dragons. I'm pretty sure
again,
not from the dragons can kill them.
Again, it's unclear at this point, really, a lot of this stuff, right?
Yeah, so I'm wondering.
Bran immediately confronts Leaf about creating the White Walkers. Leaf explains that they were at war with the First Men and they were desperate. A lot of questions, right? A lot of questions. A lot of questions that we have at this point. And I'll tell you right now, I'm hoping it's a little bit more clear to me this time around, Jay. This whole storyline. Yeah. But from what I recall, the first time around, I was still left with a lot of questions out of this storyline. So we'll see how that plays out.
I forgot about that tree girl when I see her in this episode.
Yes,
I forgot about her for some reason.
Yeah. But they didn't really show her all too much before this. No. As the king's moot on Old Wick is held, Yara Greyjoy. Oh yeah, this is now in the what do you call it? The where are they now? What's that place called? Iron Islands. Yeah, this is where they are now in this next seed. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're back with the Greyjoys.
Yeah, the Greyjoys. Is held. Yara Greyjoy is the first to lay claim to the Salt Throne. Yara argues that raiding the mainland is not enough for their people and that they need to use military force to teach the mainlanders a lesson. An Ironborn man challenges Yara's candidacy on the grounds that she is a woman and points out that her brother Theon Greyjoy has returned. Theon endorses his older sister and urges the gathering to do the same, stressing that she is a warrior, a reaver, and an Ironborn. Many shout for Yara to be their queen. Great speech by him. I'm glad that he did this. Up, yeah, finally. He finally fucking
got some balls.
He grew the balls back and he was able to fucking make this great.
Don't worry, they'll get ripped out soon. Just give it another scene or something.
I thought this was a great, like, finally, like, Theon moment. Like, finally, for once, like, he actually, like, made a great point. He's right. He's not fit to be the king that they're looking for in this whole situation, this leader. And, you know, that she should hold the throne of the Salt Throne, right? So, yeah, I think, and, you know, again, she's had her own army, like, or people follow her on the boat, and she's led she's led attacks. She is the daughter of the guy who, you know, used to be on the throne. So yeah, it makes sense that she is the one they follow. I agree.
Yeah, exactly.
Before they can crown Yara, though, Euron Greyjoy, who just fucking keeps showing up out of nowhere and laying claim to shit, right?
This guy shows up on the middle of a fucking bridge.
I know. He shows up. This guy's a shit, eh? I've seen this guy in other shit too. I feel like this actor. I don't know from where, but I've seen this guy in other stuff too. He looks familiar. He joins the gathering to lay claim to the Salt Throne. He openly mocks Theon for his military failures and emasculation before deriding Yara as a woman.
Yeah.
Yara, in turn, accuses Euron of killing their king and her father, Balon. To her surprise, and to mine, quite frankly, he admits killing Balon, but then defends his actions on the grounds that he was leading them to defeat in the north.
Yeah.
That's pretty ballsy of him, though. He's like, yeah, that's right, I killed him. He's not even like... These guys are fucked, man. These Iron Island guys. I honestly, like, Theon's people are kind of fucked up. I gotta say, like, they're pretty. The fact that they're like, okay, yeah, this guy's our leader now. I just like, really? Yeah, look him up. Maybe see if there's anything else that we've watched. Maybe that he might be in. I don't know. Okay. To her surprise, he admits killing him and defends his actions, saying that, you know, he was leading them to defeat in the north. When Euron states that his only regret is not killing Balon years earlier, he is met by resounding cheers from the crowd. Theon then counters that he had spent years gallivanting overseas while Yara was commanding Ironborn ships and men. Yara then suggests building a massive fleet to attack and make their mark on Westeros. Anything that we might know him from, Jay, or you know him from?
It's just showing me. I'm trying to get to his fucking
IMDb. Yeah. Okay, I'll keep going though.
Look at how that's the guy.
Yeah. Right? Danish actor. Yeah.
But I just I can only bring.
Somewhat looks familiar. That's why I was like, maybe there's something we might know him from.
Danish guy.
In response, he announces that he also supports expanding the Ironborn fleet. Revealing a trick up his sleeve, he then proposes to marry Daenerys Targaryen and then carry her army and dragons back to Westeros. The Ironborn support his plan and declare him king. The drowned men priest Euron Greyjoy then leads Euron down to the sea to be drowned and reborn, as is the custom. Knowing that he will kill them as soon as he is able, Yara, Theon, and many of their loyalists flee the Iron Islands during his coronation, taking much of the Iron Fleet with them. After he revives himself, he is crowned by his brother Aeron. After learning that his niece and nephew have fled with their best ships, he calls on his followers to build their own ships so that he may pursue the pair and kill them. I mean, slick move on their part. They really did call that. Like, as soon as he fucking got the crowd, he's like, okay, where are my fucking my nephew and niece, right? Like, right away, he's like, I'm gonna kill these fuckers, right? Like, let's get those guys, and they're gone already, right? So good on them for fucking thinking ahead. But honestly, what kind of savages are these people, bro? Like, all of a sudden they're just like, yeah, this guy shows up, all right, good enough for me, let's just crown this guy. And then all of a sudden he turns his back on his family like, right away. It's like, that's it, I'm gonna kill these guys. Where are they? You know what I mean? These people are crazy, bro. What's wrong with these guys?
Bro, that's the Greyjoys for you. That's what happens when you live at sea, bro.
I guess, yeah, man. Fuck.
See what a captain's life could
like
be.
Pirates, yeah. That's basically what they are. Yeah.
Oh, you know any of these fucking movies? I know like Samaritan.
I know Ghost in the Shell, but
you watched R? Is that one R that you watched?
I've never seen that.
There's a lot of British
Lucy. Yeah, maybe I just know him from this. I haven't seen any of these other. Oh, he was in Aquaman, which I've never seen.
Yeah, I was gonna say. There's another one from Aquaman on here.
Yeah. That's right.
Holy shit.
Yeah, no, I don't really know him from much. So
No.
yeah, I don't know. He looks
Absolutely.
familiar for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyways,
he does. He looks like fucking Greyjoy with Theon.
so anyways, these guys are crazy.
Yeah.
Next up, we're
Yeah, he
and
looks like his brother. It could be his brother.
yeah. and Vas Dothrak.
There we go.
Daenerys is unsure of what to do with Jorah, having banished him twice. Seeing him defiantly return twice and him twice saving her life, Jorah finally confesses his love for Daenerys in this scene.
Nudity.
Yeah, but also
Fucking
reveals
pussy.
his spreading grayscale infection and says that this time he needs to leave for good. He starts to leave and states his plan to take his own life well before the grayscale envelops him. But Daenerys tearfully commands him to find a cure and come back to her side when she conquers Westeros. Jorah then
Please
departs.
don't tell me this is gonna happen.
Jorah then departs while Daenerys and Dario Naharis lead the Dothraki horde back to Meereen. Okay, I had a big problem with this fucking scene. Okay, I had a big problem with this scene. Let me explain this to you. Okay. First off, I love this Jorah moment though. I loved him finally admitting it to her. Yeah, this was like, you know what I mean? Like he saved her many times, put his life on the line for her, and you know, he got back in her favor as a result of everything that he had done after just like, you know, like deceiving her and everything else that he had done wrong. He was able to kind of get back in her good graces. So like I was happy for him in that sense, even though it like cost him his life. Essentially, he got grayscale, you know what I mean, as a result of him getting kicked out the first time, you know, that led him to everything else that happened to him. But he also brought her Tyrion, like, you know what I mean? Like he has contributed a lot to her effort in becoming you know, getting the throne here. So I just thought this was such a fucking selfish fucking move on her part to be like, okay, yeah, you can leave, but when you're healthy, come back and help me out because I need you there by my side. She not like we will find you a cure. On her, like she's like, yeah, I don't have time for this. I'm gonna keep banging this guy. You go find a cure. You go on some impossible fucking mission. No, seriously, this is the way I looked at this. I'm like, how selfish of you to say it that way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, it was his choice to be like, I'm gonna leave because I'm not gonna be human for much longer. Like, I get that.
He didn't want to stick around.
No, I get why he's doing it, but to say to him like, go cure yourself, and then am I the only one that feels this way? Because like I kind of felt like I was
feel like he's gonna be hanging around somewhere, like not far off, you know, just keep trying to keep her protected all the time.
Maybe, I mean, she could have even said like, listen, if by the grace of God somehow you survive, come back, like, you know what I mean? Like, you put on a mask, yeah. No, but like seriously, like she's like, yeah, well, listen, we're never gonna hook up. I'm banging this guy now, but by the way, if you ever cure yourself by somehow, come back and you could serve me.
You could serve me after instead. And not even I'll let you bang me finally.
Right?
But you could serve me.
Just like kind of like, come on. Like the way she put it, I was just like, seriously? Like
I would have just touched her for no hell after that. I would have just went, here you go. Fucking bitch. And then start walking away.
Am I wrong for thinking that though? I'm just like, this is kind of I don't like the way it was phrased. Like she's like
she's turned into a bitch, really. She's really not I'm starting not to like her.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like maybe she needs to take her clothes off.
Like I get it. You're like all high and mighty and full of yourself right now. But to say it, kind of like put it that way, I was kind of like, you need to find a cure for yourself and then come back and serve by my side. I was just like, get the fuck out of here. I think this guy's not worried about his he's got other problems right now to deal with. Yeah. I'm sure like, yes, he wants to be with you, but just to put it that way, like, okay, go on your way, but cure yourself and then come back. And then, like it just, she made it seem like so easy. Like he's like, yeah, just find a way to cure yourself and then come back. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Then we'll talk.
Yeah. Then we'll talk.
Then we'll talk.
I don't know. I just thought it was like kind of so full of herself that in that moment she's just like, really?
Well,
like,
I mean, she still kept she banned him already, so I kind of figured she was gonna ban him again. Even
yeah.
Her, but
no, but he kind of
knew that before.
He excused himself though here, but
he did. You kind of.
Poor Jorah, man. I great character though. I love Jorah.
Is that the last we're gonna see of him?
I don't know.
I don't know. Neither do I. I haven't noticed yet, so we'll have to see.
Might be the season, though. I'll say that much. It might be the last time you see him this season because he's just not looking good for him right now, right? So,
turn into a giant fucking.
any theories on your part? If
Dragon.
do you think he'll be able to heal himself somehow? And if he does, how will he do that? Do you have any idea?
Well,
Theories. Come on, bust out a theory.
I don't know. Cut his arm off. Fuck, I don't know. Ask Jamie how he got his arm cut off. I don't know. Fuck, I don't know, man. I really don't. I don't even know what the fuck.
I mean, it would make sense.
All I know is one girl has had her whole face over had it,
right?
And then now he's only got a little spot on his arm,
right?
So I don't know. Is he, how far is it going to spread from now and the next how many seasons?
Right,
2.5 seasons,
right?
If that, right? So I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't.
I just didn't know if you were thinking on it. If you had any theory about this,
I don't know if he's actually. I think he's going to die somehow.
Yeah,
whether
very possible.
Whether it be fighting or whether it be,
very
captured.
Very possible. So we'll see what happens. Then we go back to Marine here. While the rulers of Marine enjoy a peace for a moment here, Tyrion reminds them of the need to convince the Meereenese that everything has been done with Daenerys's blessing, as the Masters could use Tyrion and Varys' foreign status against them to reclaim Slaver's Bay. To that end, Tyrion invites Kinvara, High Priestess of the Red Temple of Volantis, and negotiates spreading the word of Daenerys' accomplishments. Apparently, all these priestesses are all hot. These ones, eh? Like, I don't know. I like the look of this one too. This Red Priestess. Are they all old ladies though? Is the question. In disguise, right?
We don't know. We'll have to figure it out.
To Tyrion's surprise, Kinvara appears to be highly accommodating and supporting his goals, as she firmly believes that Daenerys is the prince that was promised. Varys is more skeptical, being suspicious of any practitioners of magic, of course, with his own history of what happened with him, right? And that you remember that old wizard that he had like locked up that one time that he was torturing, from when he was a kid. And
she brought it up.
Yeah, and then points out that Melisandre had already declared Stannis Baratheon to be the prince, only for him to be defeated twice. Good point, though, on his part. Yeah.
He's keeping his eyes open.
Yeah.
He's always got his eyes open.
That's right. Yeah. Kinvara says that while the Lord of Light has a plan, the humans following him do occasionally make errors. She then unnerves Varys by revealing that she knows Varys was emasculated by a second-rate sorcerer, and offers to repeat the words he heard in the flames and identify who it was that spoke. Varys is uncharacteristically unsettled by this revelation. This is one of the only people we've seen put Varys in his place, honestly, during this show. Kinvara then assures Tyrion that she will send the preachers and priests best suited to the task at hand. This is a good scene. I like this scene a lot, especially because of the Varys stuff, right?
Yeah.
But what did I write down here? All the priestesses, the witches hot, or at least appear to be. I wrote that down.
Until they take their clothes off.
That's right. I mentioned about how he doesn't trust magic people, and yeah, she puts him in his place. Yeah, so that's
he tells the whole story. Like she knows that whole story.
That's right.
It was
that's
kind
right.
Of, it shocked him. Then she walks away when she says it. She just like, and she walks away. Right? So,
yeah.
I wonder if that's gonna catch their attention, like, because we don't know who they're
gonna
pick.
What do you think? Do you think the inclusion of these people that follow the Lord of the Light is a good thing or a bad thing? Because it seems they have helped out certain situations with people on the show, but other times maybe not so much. Right? There's been a lot of been a lot of bad moments because of magic too. You got to remember on the show, right?
I think magic is their way of using it, like almost like a religion in a sense, because
it is a religion. Yeah, it's the Lord of the Light shit is. Yeah.
I think that's why the only people that are really getting affected are really the people that are kind of walking that thin line of being very hateful people and very law abiding.
Yeah.
Even people in power too. Sure. At that point, so we'll have to see. I don't know where this is going. It'd be different. It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Later, Bran is the only one in the cave awake and is anxious to warg back into the weirwood tree. He wargs into the tree by himself and sees the army of the dead. He slowly walks through the army until he comes to a space occupied by 4 White Walkers, including the Night King. As he becomes aware that the Night King and the dead are now able to see him, the Night King grabs his arm. He breaks out of the vision and with a scream, with a scream waking the others. The 3-eyed raven tells Bran, Mira, and Hodor that the Night King is now able to locate Bran, who is now marked on his right forearm and able to bypass the powerful magic keeping the White Walkers and the Whites out of the cave. As a result, they must leave immediately, and Bran must become the Three-Eyed Raven. This was a pretty scary moment, though, when he grabs his arm and fucking they realize that he can actually get to them then. Like, and they waste no time. Like, they're there, like, instantly almost, right? Like, at least to us as viewers. That was pretty crazy, man.
They know which route they're taking,
yeah,
or whatever.
Bran asks, Bran asks whether he is ready, and the Raven says no, at which point Bran's eyes widen as he enters another vision. Yeah, that was a pretty scary moment, man. So then back at Castle Black, a war council is called and is attended by Sansa, Brienne, Podrick, Jon, Davos, Melisandre, Tormund, and Edison Tollett, who discussed the need for more men to defend Castle Black, since the Karstarks and Umbers, two major houses in the north, have declared for Ramsay. Jon points out that they can summon the rest of the minor houses, such as the Mormonts, Glovers, Serwins, and Mazins, to rival their enemies. Sansa states that the North remembers. The people of the North are still loyal to the Starks and will risk everything for the name Stark. She reveals Bryndon's successful retaking of Riverrun, though she claims she learned via one of Ramsay's ravens in order to stop Jon from pursuing Littlefinger. Sansa subsequently tasks Brienne and Podrick with securing Bryndon's help, while the rest of them leave Castle Black to start building their army. Sorry. Before leaving Castle Black, Sansa presents Jon with a new cloak like their father's, carrying the Stark sigil. That was pretty sick, eh? That cloak.
Sewed it up.
That was pretty sick.
Dead dog.
My favorite line in this scene was Davos, though, when he says, "I may not know the North, but I know men." When he talks about, like, Davos always has like some great wisdom to the scenes, like, right? He's always outclassed and in the room, like, in terms of like his place amongst everybody.
Yeah, his role.
But he comes in and he has like this nugget of like wisdom, like, you know what I mean? And like, he's like, he always said, you know, he's so humble. He's like, "Oh, I may not know about this and I may not know about that, but I know this and I know that." You know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean. Like, he even says, because like Sansa is like trying to like tell him, he's like, "The North remembers, don't worry, like, I know these people, they will like join us." And he's like, "I may not know the North, but I know men." He's like, "And this will not go the way you want it to," right? Like, he's warning her, right? Like, you
gotta be smart about this. You gotta think about it and how you're gonna approach it. Right?
Yeah, I just think he's a smart fucking guy, Davos. Like, you know what I mean? There's a reason why he's still in the mix. You know what I mean? Like, even though he's like dead. He's literally a pirate, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's a guy that used to be like, and then like, but he worked his way up to be advisor to Stannis, right? So like, there's a reason why like he kept him around, right? He's got a good head on his shoulders, and he's smart. Like, very smart. Yeah, absolutely. As Meera and Hodor are preparing to leave, they notice the air is so cold that their breath is visible, indicating the arrival of the army of the dead outside of the cave, which they waste no fucking time here. The Night King and 3 White Walkers start marching towards the cave. The children of the forest try using magic projectiles to fend the walkers off, but are overwhelmed. They light a fire around the entrance, which prevents them from entering, but the walkers extinguish a pathway and walk through. They end up climbing over the weirwood and dropping through roots at the top of the cave. Meera desperately tries to get Bran out of the vision and attempts to get the frightened Hodor to carry Bran away to no avail. Using a dragon glass tipped spear, Meera kills the first White Walker that enters, which is pretty fucking crazy. She like whips it, right? And like hits him and he busts into a bunch of shards. Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. I like how she whipped it.
I put a weird face on as a White Walker.
Yeah,
like a face like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And fights alongside the remaining children of the forest to try to fend them off until Bran wakes up. Begins to swarm the cave, killing all of the children of the forest except for Leaf, as Meera starts yelling at Bran to warg into Hodor. In the vision, Bran is at Winterfell watching his father say goodbye to his own father, Rickard Stark, before being sent to the Vale as a ward. While still in the vision, Bran hears Meera's cries to warg into Hodor, and the Three-Eyed Raven tells him to listen to her. Bran wargs into both the present-day Hodor in the cave and Willis, I don't know, the young version of Hodor in his vision. What'd you think of this scene? You like this?
And this scene too, just to the part there too, man. Why did the fucking wolf decide to get himself killed?
One more down, Jay. One more down.
He did. He threw himself in there. Like, what the fuck?
I know. I
mean,
remember we were trying to figure out how many direwolves are still alive. I thought his was still alive, even though we hadn't seen him all that much. But yeah, he dies in this scene. So I think it's literally just Ghost. I think that's left, right?
But
Which
he's
is
supposed to be
John's.
the Raven now, right? So I don't know if he's gonna be the wolf anymore, right?
Mhm.
So what the fuck does he need it for anymore? So I just, oh my god.
I know it sucked, but he died defending him, right? He tried protecting him, right? So there, again, he served his purpose.
We'll see how worth it was. We don't know yet, man. Still,
Although we didn't see it in this scene, but the White Walkers could resurrect him to become a White Walker, direwolf.
But that's what I mean,
right?
I don't know. I don't know.
That would suck. That would suck. That would suck. The Hodor and
resurrect the direwolf. Now we got a frozen direwolf like Pet Cemetery. Like,
right.
Come on.
The Hodor in the cave puts Bran's body on a sled and starts hauling him down a tunnel leading out of the cave with Leaf and Mira as Bran's direwolf Summer is killed attacking the Whites.
Yeah, fuck Summer.
As they are closing in on them, Leaf sacrifices herself using magic to cause a huge explosion. That was pretty sick what she did. She basically made like an elemental grenade or something, eh? Like it was like a grenade. She made like an energy ball or something, right? And she sat there and they're all like tearing apart at her. She exploded. That was pretty crazy, yeah. Basically, give them enough time to get to the door at the end of the tunnel while the Three-Eyed Raven and Bran are still sharing a vision. The Night King kills the Three-Eyed Raven and his figure within Bran's vision blows away as ashes and rags. He's done. He's no longer the Three-Eyed Raven. Now he's passed the torch over to Bran in this scene because he gets taken out by the Night King finally, right? Who I guess has been his enemy throughout this whole time, right? From his creation.
Inside there now of the seat.
With some difficulty, Hodor pushes the door open and pulls Bran through, coming back to help Mira close the door just as the Waits approach. Mira grabs Bran's sled and tells Hodor to bar the exit, shouting to hold the door. Inside Bran's vision, Wireless notices Bran, who links the present Hodor to the past. Wireless begins to seize when he enters the mind of his future self as Mira continues to yell, "Hold the door!" to present day Hodor within Bran's vision. Wireless falls to the ground convulsing and starts repeating the same sentence in the midst of his seizure. Were you feeling for him? Were you feeling?
Yeah, I know.
Like,
if I have a fucking seizure and starts yelling, "Hold the door!"
Maybe you'll say that, Jay.
Hold the door. One day I'll never fucking come back. That's all I'll say when I come back, or something like that. Yeah. Are you guys gonna make fun of me then?
Yeah, I will. Eventually,
I can just picturing what you guys would say back then, man.
Eventually, hold the door slurs into Hodor. I think we just came up with JT's new nickname, Hodor. His seizures and says Hodor. As his condition deteriorates and it becomes apparent, this is the moment Hodor lost the ability to say any other words, and his destiny was fixed. Present day Hodor braces himself against the door long enough for Mira to disappear into the snow with Bran's unconscious body on the sled. Inevitably, the Waits break through parts of the wood and begin scratching and stabbing a visibly distressed Hodor. With no possibility of escape for him, all that is shown at the end is young Wireless in the past seizing and crying out, "Hodor!"
Yeah, okay, but so is he dead now?
Because it doesn't look good for him there, does it? He's like ripping apart. Like
past him is still alive, learning how to speak.
The only notes I wrote down here was fucking stupid. You had one job.
No, he was holding the door, bro.
Poor guy.
Now you gotta be silly. Now you gotta. But no, it's just fuck, man.
Hodor. What an end of an episode.
But no, what I don't understand is if okay, this is where I'm a little lost. He goes into the past, Bran sees him, hold the door, he's yelling or whatever. Fuck. So that's where Hodor finally fucking learns how to say that only word. Right? But then he dies in real life, but he's in the past, he's still there learning it. So he says his only word. So does that part of him grow? Is it a multiverse sort of thing? Like fucking crazy, bro.
It's all like time type shit. Yeah, time travel type of
like. Am I gonna ever see Hodor again somewhere down the line?
We didn't see him die, but I gotta tell you, it didn't look good for him there. Yeah.
No, it's not like I seen him.
Doesn't look good. I mean, they're ripping him apart, bro. I think that's the end of Hodor. I'm just gonna tell you right now.
It's gonna be a Hodor White Walker.
There probably will be. I mean, yeah, probably. Well, you know what they do? They resurrect things, right? So, you imagine Hodor White Walker? Hodor.
Yeah, what does he say now? Because he doesn't have to hold the door, and he didn't hold the door. So
stupid.
Oh, fuck.
I'm still not a fan. Oh, there go your headphones. Oh well.
Oh man, that was freaking crazy.
Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for this episode. The Door, Game of Thrones season 6, episode 5. The next episode is called Blood of My Blood, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. Maybe we'll play that DMX song at the start of that. No, it's just called Blood of My Blood. The next episode, which is going to be episode 6 of season 6. We're getting there, Jay. We're almost done season 6. Not much more to go, man.
No, there's not much.
And again, shout out to everybody that's been watching these shows, and thank you for people for checking them out. And make sure you like and subscribe. And we'll see you here next week, same time, same place, Thursdays at 8 p.m. You can expect another episode of Watching the Throne on the Late Night Chat Network. Thank you, everybody. Thanks.
Hold the door. Hold the door.